Guys, BareTrap here from AZ Fly Shop. Today we're going to tie a super simple but super effective fly that we use in all the water that we fish. But first I want to tell you a little bit about the material that we're using to tie it today. It's from a company in the UK. It's new here in the store. It is FNF Fly Fishing. They make a few different products. This stuff we're going to be tying with today is called Chewing Gum Worm. They have a jumbo chewing gum worm. They have this really cool leggy material called Creeper. They're basically like chenilles with rubber legs in them. They're absolutely awesome, and they work on all the fish. They have some other chenilles for tying eggs and blob flies and things like that. It's absolutely awesome. Over the next couple videos, we're going to be tying a lot of these flies with this material, and let's get to tying this one. So first on with this fly, we're going to be starting off with a Firehole 520 in size 12. I really like this jig hook. My favorite part about it is it tends to stand straight up and down in the water. I think that carp really like when your fly stands straight up and down. It's super effective, and you end up hooking a lot of fish right in the top lip. For thread on this fly, I'm actually using Uni 6/0 in chartreuse. I like to match the thread color with the color of material that I'm using, with whatever fly I'm using or fly I'm tying. Like if I was tying it in the red color, I'd be using a red thread or an orange thread maybe to create a hot spot. You can kind of play around with different thread colors. But I'm going to get the thread started right here, right behind the bend, the 60-degree bend in this jig hook. And snip off my tag end. And for the eyes on this fly, I'm going to use my small bead chain eyes in black. I've also tied these with orange bead chain eyes, orange dumbbell eyes. I tie them in a few different weights. That way, if depending on what kind of water I'm encountering, I have the right weighted fly to get down to the fish. So I'm going to tie it today with the bead chain eyes, and you're just going to get those bead chain eyes set on there with a couple crossing wraps just like that. Go one way, go the other, and then you're going to build up a thread donut underneath those eyes by making figure-8 wraps just underneath the eyes. And the bigger your thread donut, the less those eyes are going to move. I don't like using adhesives on my carp flies. I don't know why. Maybe they can smell it. I don't know. But I don't usually use adhesives. That and these flies take such little time to tie, I don't really care if they fall apart or not. So you're going to take your thread, wrap it back till pretty deep down into the bend, right before it starts turning at a downward 90-degree angle. And then you're going to take a piece of your chewing gum worm. Today I'm using chartreuse. You can tie it in red, you can tie it in black. I tie it in white. I tie it in all kinds of colors, and it works in all of them in different scenarios. And you take your piece of chewing gum worm, and I like to take a lighter and just kind of singe the end and melt it just a little bit. That way the chewing gum worm doesn't start to come unfurled and stuff after a few fish. Just makes it a little more durable. And for the tail length on this one, I like to be about as long as the hook shank. From tip of the eye to where I leave my thread, that's kind of about as much tail as I want hanging off the back. So I measure that out and use my fingers as a guide and just take a couple wraps, keep that out of the way, and trap it down. And once you get it trapped down, it'll still slide around a little bit, but you make a couple wraps in front there and it locks it down. It's not going anywhere. Then you take your thread and advance it all the way back up, over top of your eyes and leave it right at the eye of the hook. Then take your chewing gum worm and palmer it, wrap it around the shank, touching wraps all the way up to the eyes. And then when you get to the eyes, this is the easiest part. You just cross it once going one way, cross it another time going the other way, and then trap it with your thread. Make 2 wraps over it, couple wraps in front of it, and then snip it off close. I like to whip finish. I like to turn my vise upside down to whip finish this fly. It's easier to whip finish a jig style fly with the vise upside down. But if you don't have a rotary vise, it's just as easy to whip finish it the other way as well. And there you have it. This is a fly that I use for carp, and I've caught bass on it, I've caught trout on it, panfish, I've caught a ton of carp. I call it the CGS. Stop in the shop and ask me what it stands for. See you in the shop.